Hello, welcome to the Wewealth Women podcast. My name is Athena, and I am the founder of Wewealth Women, where we help women create and manage their finances with confidence and create their wealthy goddess life. Now, if you are just joining us, please make sure that you like and subscribe to wherever you're listening to this or watching this. If you're on YouTube, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, all the good things. You don't want to miss out when I do go live. Now, in today's topic, we are going to talk about, can we have it all? Right? Can we have it all? And I thought that this was going to be a good topic to discuss because there's so many competing thoughts around what we are able to do, what we are able to accomplish. Usually, especially as women, we have multiple camps. We have one camp that says you can have it all. You don't have to limit yourself. You don't have to, stop yourself in any way. You can have it all. And then we have another camp that says, you can't have it all, right? You don't want to burn out, soft life. We deserve rest, all of those things. So in today's topic, I'm going to address my perspective on can we have it all? Now, this topic came to me by a moment of inspiration. I was lying in bed and I kept thinking about all the things that I am personally currently doing. And sometimes when I think about it all, I get overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie to you. I get very much so overwhelmed with everything that I have to do. I'm running my business. I am currently writing a book. I am doing courses. I'm on panels. I'm on panel discussions all the time. I am, speaking engagements, things like that. Plus my social life. So, and keeping up with friends. So all these things that I am personally doing. And I realize from talking and engaging with other women, they have a packed schedule as well. They are doing a lot of things, right? And I even thought about like our grandparents and our mothers and things like that. And I personally believe this generation, while the blessing that women have more opportunities to go after our dreams, to create our realities, to the opportunity has just been wide open for us to really shine. And a lot of us has taken that advantage of that. Conversely, I have to think about, are we exhausted? Are we tired? Are we giving, ourselves enough rest? Are we burning ourselves out? Because when I look at my mom's generation and my grandma's generation, yeah, they contributed a lot to the home and the family, but they were not nearly doing as much, I would say, career or going after your dream wise. They might have done a lot in the home, right? They might have done a lot of those things, but they weren't really pushing any kind of ambitious schedule. So it caused me to think, can we have it all? Can we have a successful relationships and friendships and kill it at work or our careers or our businesses and kill it in our romantic relationships and partnerships? Like what does that look like? What does that look like? Um, I think we can have it all, but I don't think we can have it all at the same time. Right? Even I've noticed, and comment or email or however you're watching or viewing this, let me know your thoughts. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment down in the comment section. But what I've noticed is that there's certain stages in my life where there was a big push in certain categories more than other categories. Like right now, I would say my business, how I'm planning out my career is getting a very big push right now, especially focusing on wealth creation and the different ventures that I have going on. And also my friendships, those relationships, my friendships also have been getting more of a push this year. Not so much my romantic life and not so much family, right? But in the previous years, I focused more on, dating and getting like romantic relationships and then my career, but not so much, friendships and family. So I think that there are seasons where certain things are just naturally going to have to be put on the back burner or not as prioritized because there's just only so many hours in a day and you are one person. But that is okay, because I think with us prioritizing, this might be a season for you where you do that career push, or this might be a season for you where you do, I want to be partnered, or this might be the season for you where I want to spend more quality time with my friends and family. I think that is a better approach than trying to run everything and push for everything at the same time. I think that when we push for everything to happen at the same time, we will face a lot of burnout, a lot of exhaustion, a lot of not feeling peaceful. And I subscribe to belief that I can create the things that I want and have experienced the joy and the love and the quality time and my connections through a place of like peace and joy, and not necessarily having to, burn myself out in order to do that. I don't subscribe. While that method of success does produce certain fruits, it's almost like, okay, once I get the fruit, am I even in a condition to enjoy it at that point, right? So that is why I have taken this kind of approach mentally to all the things that I do, because I don't want to burn out. I don't want to feel exhausted. I don't want to mule myself out. I want to be able to enjoy the peace, love, and happiness. Once the fruit actually come, I want to be in a position to enjoy the fruit, right? So that's my thought on, can we have it all? I think we can. It's just not going to happen all at the same time. And I think that is okay, right? But I also want to pose a question. I also want to pose a question to you, for because this was a question I was pondering as well, right? This was something that I was thinking about. And the question was like, do we want it all? Do we want it all? Right? Because what I've learned is the more certain things that you have, the more responsibility you have, the more accountability you have for it, right? So I'll give an example. I can have my peaceful home with my 3-4 bedrooms and my things, and I can manage it myself. I can be peaceful. I can, it's easy to manage that, right? And this was like one of my goals. And sometimes I rethink it, but I was like, I would love to have multiple homes in other countries, right? For example, I would love to have a house in like Mexico. I would love to have a house in Jamaica. I would love to have a house in like Italy or somewhere. Like basically have a house on, that would be cool. Have a house in every continent. That would be nice, right? So I like the idea of that, right? But then do I want what the reality of that would be? Right? Having seen people manage homes abroad, right? If a hurricane comes, how I'm going to make sure that those homes are secured. The upkeep of those homes and making sure those homes are protected. And okay, when I'm not at those homes, do I Airbnb it out? Do I rent it out? Do I want strangers in my home? Right? It creates this more work. It creates more things to be concerned over. So that's the paradox of having things, is that it creates more responsibility, accountability, which translates to more work. So even though And I don't want to limit anyone's thought process. And I'm very much of an abundant mindset. But it is something to consider. Do we really want it all? Do we want the responsibility? Do we want the accountability? Do we want the extra work that is going to come from having to do all of that? Right? Do we want to be able to juggle all these competing priorities? I often talk to women who also have children. I do not have children currently, right? I'm open to having them should I be in a relationship that is that committed to where we can have children, right? But I often ask women who are mothers, who run businesses, who are working moms, and I'll never forget this. There was this woman, she was Asian, and I was doing some accounting consulting work for a company, and she was an accountant there. And she was telling me after she left work that she has to go to the daycare to pick up her 2 kids, and she called that her second shift, right? And she had twins. She had twins. She also had a third child that was, a year old in between the twins. So she had 3 kids under the age of 2, right? 2 and under. And, she also had her career. She was married. She had her husband. She had a lot, right? But in my interactions with her and the conversations I had with her, she felt so burdened and exhausted by it all. I've had conversations with other working moms to where they have talked about how their blood pressure had calmed down once, they started working from home or made certain shifts. And it made me think like, oh my God, like, can we really have it all? Can we really do that? Are we able to really have that experience? Are we able to go after things in that way? Because even if we can, do we want to? What is the cost of that? Right? Is it my physical, my mental, my emotional, my spiritual health that has to take this huge sacrifice in order to make all of that work? Right? So that is a question that I've asked myself, do I really want all of the things that I want, right? Because what the cost of that's going to look like. So that's a question I'm putting out there to pose for you, right? Not just think about things from the perspective of desire and it would like to have. What does it truly mean to have the thing that you're asking for? Right? And the sacrifice that you're going to have to make to have it, is it worth it? If, at the expense of other things, right? Now, the third question that came to my mind, and it was something that I think we should also think about is, okay, so then what should we want? Right? What are the things that should we want? And this is just a general statement. And I know a lot of us are all listening to different things, but what should we want? And I asked myself this question. But before I give my answer, I want to give you guys a context to my response. So, the context being, for most of my life, I grew up always needing to be the best, always needing to be perfect, always needing to be number one. If I wasn't number one, I needed to be in the top X percent. Always needing to accomplish. And I really truly think that that approach was because I needed an extension of, it was a way to prove my worth, or I looked at those things as ways to prove my worth, and it provided a certain validation that I was getting that I wasn't necessarily getting met at home in childhood, right? So it served a purpose. It served a purpose. And I think that mindset and frame helped me through school, helped me through establishing the beginning of my career. But as I mature, developed a lot of healing work, a lot of introspection, I found that I outgrew that thinking. I found that that frame for how I was going and approaching life, my endeavors, the things that I wanted, I've kind of outgrew that. Like it served a purpose in the beginning, but at this stage, it wasn't really meeting a need. And what I found is that, okay, I can rest now. I don't have to kill myself to enjoy the things I want to enjoy in life. But also, what I found was I needed to definitely be intentional about the things that I wanted because I will have a tendency to overwork myself because I've been trained to do that through the process of getting to this stage of life. So now when I evaluate the things that I want, now I'm measuring, okay, what is the intention? What I'm trying to accomplish? How does that fulfill my life purpose? Is it just another thing that I'm checking off a box to say that I did this to get some kind of social recognition or clout, or is this something that provides emotional and nutritional value to my soul that also contributes to the greater part of society? And that is through the lens I view the things that I'm trying to do now. And I find and I notice that when I do that, I'm able to eliminate the fluff or the show or doing the things that give that external validation, and it pivots, and now instead of getting or prioritizing things that give that external validation, I am doing the things that provide the internal validation, the internal love, peace, and joy that nobody really sees, right? But allows me to wake up and experience life to the fullest expression of myself, to experience the peace, love, and joy that I think is available to us all. So when it comes to what should we want, I think we should want the things that add value in that way, that have intrinsic value, that add to internal validation, internal success, internal that that I think is more everlasting, that is more sustaining. And if it has some external success and validation to it, great, right? But that is not necessarily the goal. And to me, the goal is longevity. The goal is, out of all the things that I want, what are the things that are going to sustain, me of today? So the Athena of today, and then the Athena of tomorrow, the Athena 30, 40, 50 years down the road, God willing, are these the things that I'm going to look back and like, yes, like I'm so grateful I did that at that time, right? So for me, when I'm looking at what I should want, or the things that on the list that are things I want, is really nurturing my connections, my friendships, my relationships, working on that relationship space, building a career and a business that has longevity, that is sustaining, that provides value to the greater part of society and not just my pockets, and enjoying what life has to offer, kind of tuning out the noise of the dread and drudgery of between war, politics, all the negativity that's going on in the world, and just focusing on the positive that I can see and experience at this time. Right? So to any of my listeners who are listening, we can have it all. But the question is, do you want it all? Right? And are the things you are desiring, is it Are you only desiring it because you've been told to desire it? Are you only desiring it because you feel other people or society will praise you for it? Or do you think that this is something that will really add to the foundation of what your current life is and sustain you for the future? Right? So, to all of my listeners who are listening to this, thank you so much for joining me in this episode. Please sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching this. If you ever want to work with me, you can always find all my information at wewealthwomen.com. I have courses, I have merch, I have things that will help guide you through. You can always book a consultation with me as well, from there as well, if you want some private help. I hope that you understand that you can have whatever it is that you desire, as long as it's something that you truly want and you're willing to put your energy and effort behind it. Until the next time.